Hello, welcome creepy people of the internet, Cronliex here, bringing you a very special video about the Tales doll. I know that this thing has been talked about to death, and many other people have already nailed this thing down to a T, but I want my shots at it because this doll has had me in my fears for years since 2011. Yes, like every other Sonic fan, I was scared of this doll. My first introduction to this doll was during the time I began to discover creepypastas like Jeff the Killer, the Slender Man, Sonic.exe, we'll get to him another time, and Lavender Town, and many more. I was a pretty easy to scare child back then, and I thought that if something was scary, I'd refuse to sleep or just avoid dark narrow hallways for a few months until I've eventually forgotten about what I was scared of. Hell, I was even scared of the witch from Left 4 Dead 2 because I used to think that my mom looked a lot like her at one point when I was playing the game over at a friend's house. Stupid as it sounds, but without further ado, let's dive into the history of the Tales doll. The Tales doll was first revealed in an old Sega Saturn game released in 1997 called Sonic R, a slippery mess that makes you want to bash your head into the wall if you ever think of wanting to try and turn your character around after hitting a wall, or because you went the wrong way. I don't know why they didn't make the game a lot like Sega and Sonic All-Stars Racing, because that game did a lot better than that. But besides that, the 4 playable characters you can use when playing this hellish game were Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Rosie the Rascal, aka Amy Rose, and Dr. Robotnik, which is locked until Radiant Emerald was completed. The game has 5 other characters you can unlock after collecting all the coins around each of the maps in the game. The first character you can unlock is Metal Sonic, then the other ones after him are Tails Doll, Metal Knuckles, and the Eggman robot, with Super Sonic being last, after collecting all of the 8 Chaos Emeralds in each map. I don't know why you'd want to do that when the game's already hard enough to complete the first time by playing it normally, but whatever floats your boat, right? Skipping over all the other characters because, to be fair, they're not really that interesting or anything special, but the Tales doll's the one that we really want to focus on. He seems so weird to be included in the roster unless you're looking at Egg Robot just randomly thrown in there. Just seeing a lifeless doll next to Metal Sonic and Metal Knuckles kind of gives me an uneasy feeling. You'd think that Sega would have made a robot version of Tails, like they've done with Sonic and Knuckles, but it seems that they had different plans to give us some nightmare fuel to keep us up during the late hours when he creeps into our minds. But Tails doll looks like a 1-to-1 scale of Tails, but with a weird red gem attached to his head by what seems like an antenna, with big white button eyes and stitches all over him. Just by glancing at him, he would probably startle you for a moment if you've never seen anything like that before. Tails doll can go over any obstacles without an issue. He can fly over water, he can basically go in grass, not like any of the other characters can do that at normal speed, but you know, he flies. Now that we know a little bit about the Tales doll, we can finally get into one of the game's race modes, which is basically freeze tag. You can ride around to try and bump into other racers, and they'll stop in place until you're the last one left. If you play as the Tales doll and tag 4 characters in a specific pattern, you'll be met with the Tales doll staring back at you on a red and white checkered floor, playing the song Can You Feel the Sunshine in reverse. I do have a copy of Sonic R purchased for the PC back in 2018 to play on my computer, but apparently Windows 10 doesn't like booting up games released in the 90s, and I haven't been able to get it to work. So unfortunately, I won't be able to give you guys any of my gameplay, and I don't really want to use emulators because I'm not a huge fan of it. But from the duration of this video, you guys have been watching gameplay from Sonic Beyond. His name is in the bottom left of the screen, and the link to his video will be in the description below. Now let's continue with the freeze tag segment. Tails doll can tag any of the racers besides Super Sonic. Super Sonic has to be touched last. Upon completing it correctly and tagging Super Sonic, Tails doll, like I said before, would transition to a red checkered floor staring back at you with music playing in reverse. This is what's supposed to trigger the Tails doll curse, and the doll is supposed to come out of your TV and potentially kill you. The other way of performing the Tails doll curse is by going into the bathroom at 12 o'clock in the morning and playing Living in the City and Can You Feel the Sunshine in reverse in the pitch black, and after listening to both those songs in its entirety, a red gem should appear behind you in the mirror, summoning the Tails doll. Now, I know that the Tales doll curse, the bathroom ritual, does not exist and would not happen considering it's a doll from a Sonic game, but many people will say otherwise that are into these ritual type stuff, but I honestly don't really want to attempt that at 12 o'clock in the morning around my family, because I'll get very questionable looks and stuff like that, so I might ask a friend to come back and do something with me, or have them do the ritual, and I'll make a follow-up video. But besides that, the only other thing that we have to talk about is Tales doll's appearances in the Archie comics and the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, published by IDW. I have yet to read the IDW's 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog that contains him, but the original that you can find online is Cream the Rabbit finds the Tales doll laying on rocks outside the city and decides to bring it back to her house, thinking that someone's dropped the Tails-like doll, thinking that they're missing him. I don't know why you would miss a doll that looks like Tails, that clearly looks evil, but whatever floats your boat, Cream. But yeah, anything other than the Tails doll, right as of right now, that's been covered, is probably reading the Creepypasta, since I've already covered both the curses from the video game and the bathroom ritual, and just saying what Sonic R is and all that. I think that this is enough time that we have for today. Again, I know that many YouTubers from over the years have already talked about this legendary piece of horror that plagues the minds of Sonic fans alike, and yeah, that's just my fair share of the stuffed animal that I have on my shelf that watches me play video games or just sit down at the computer watching horror videos all day. But besides that, yeah, I think that's all the time that we have. So if you guys liked it, please leave a like and comment down below on what you guys thought of the video. If you have any suggestions on stuff you want me to talk about, and you want me to end up reading the Tales doll's Creepypasta, probably not. I don't want to embarrass myself as much as I already have, if I've already re-recorded this shit like many times. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Psst, by the way, next video is Hero Brian.